Good evening, everyone. Tonight, the Newton Planning Board will hold a public meeting on Tuesday, June 9th, 2026, beginning at 7 p.m. at the Newton Town Hall. We'll begin the meeting with a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, the first item on the agenda is the Circuit Rider Planning Report. Jen?
I just wanted to announce, mainly for any abutters that might be here, that at the last meeting, the proposal for the design review for the propane company, it was mentioned that there may be a formal application that we were expecting for this evening. It might be heard. They have not formally applied at this point, so I just want to make sure that that is clear.
Okay, excellent. I did notice a lot of you had come, I'm assuming for that specific development, so that application is not in a form that we can look at currently. So I don't want you guys to stay if you feel like this might not be productive for you.
So they could in the future apply formally. Abutters will be notified if that is the case, but at this point there is no application for that use before the planning board.
Thank you. Do you have anything?
That is all.
That is your report. Excellent. Okay, board business. First, we have the acceptance of the minutes on May 26, 2026 meeting.
I'll make a motion to accept.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, we have the NPREA Escrow. Bill, do we have information on that?
It's in my office. There's still some outstanding issues, but they're being worked through. I know that we've gone through what's being resolved with zoning. Planning's up next.
Perfect. So we don't have anything to vote on tonight, I would assume. And last on the agenda tonight is other business, which we're going to have a discussion with some of the outstanding issues on some of the property development at the 125 development. So I don't know if you guys want to come up first and talk about that, and we can have discussion there. Thanks, Tom.
Tom Lackford, Northern Constructors, builder for 125 development that we're here talking about. I have a bunch of requests in that I'm working at. The first one that I have in is the 105,000 square foot cap. I still have a considerable amount of square footage left in that cap. I have building 2. I have 42,000 square feet allowed at this point with the planning. And I would like to increase that to 30,000 square feet is what I've approved with you. I would like to increase it to 45,000 by 15,000. It leaves me a balance of 9,750 square feet. And I didn't get a DOT letter to say yay or nay on that, but I'm still under the cap. Sam had asked me to reach out to them.
Okay.
So the other thing I'd like to do too, at the same time we're at it, I do have a foundation permit for the entire building of 75,000 that is constructed. I'd like to have the blessing from the board that I would, for the approval of the whole 75,000 shell, but just build it all in one shot, but only occupy the 45,000. Leave the rest till later till we complete all our studies, which we are underway with. And, not ever ask for an occupancy or everyone being granted for the remaining 30,000 feet that's in the building. So I don't know if that's something we could discuss or what would you like for how to move forward with it?
So just really quick, this is the property here.
So this building's constructed, and this building number 4 is also constructed. Right? And so this building's under construction, the foundation's complete. So we'd like to come to 45,000 square feet on this building would build a whole shell to where we're doing it, it just makes sense, right? We would like to only occupy this area. Right now, we have an agreement with the planning for 30,000 feet, but I would like to move it up to 45,000 square feet. That's what I'm looking at doing, so. But I will get a DOT letter. Sam had also asked me to do that. It's not here yet, but we haven't had this discussion yet, so I thought,
So what I'll do is I'll open it to discussion for us first, and I'm sure Jen has some comments on this also.
So this site has a approval that has a cap of 105,000, which is reflected in the DOT permit. I know you guys did get an amended DOT permit today to talk about 20 residential units related to this, but it does not change the square footage of this approval at this point. DOT's permit limits building, the planning board approval limits occupancy permit. The way it is currently written, moving the square footage between building 1 and building 3, as long as it's below that cap of 105, there is nothing I think that the planning board needs to do with regard to that. There are some other things that we talked about at the last meeting that are outstanding conditions of approval for this site, and I know that you went before the planning board. We had worked on that affidavit for the couple of recording sheets. I know that Costas had signed that. I don't know if it has been taken to the registry or not yet. So there are some outstanding items to formally change a condition, which I don't think you need to do for like the moving the square footage around. If you want to formally change a condition, that's a compliance hearing. The way it's conditions also written is that if the DOT permit is effectively updated to allow the full build out, that is allowed, but that can trigger the driveway mitigation potentially, but that's DOT's call.
So from our standpoint, what we have approved wouldn't prevent the occupancy of the extra space in that building.
The planning board restricted the occupancy permit, not the building permit. There are other conditions that haven't been met. The DOT permit does say building.
Please.
Coleman McDonough, I'm the owner of the project. Steve Parnell was the traffic designer for DOT and for our project. Steve has since retired. I got him out of retirement once, but he wouldn't come out twice. But we hired Vanessa Hagen out of Watertown. And I know everybody's busy, and I called them multiple times, and they finally come out with a study. And the study was for the housing, which didn't need to be done at this time. Roger Appleton verbally quoted me over the phone and said, Coleman, I'll give you 22 units. So the planning board tonight has a letter which they requested that, gave us, the rights, the DOT signing off on the 22 units. Roger told me this afternoon, who's the head of, I think it's District 6, that he is reviewing. The study has been done, it's completed, and they have it. And they're just kind of a little backed up. He said, we'll deal with the 22 tonight. I'll get you that letter. And he said, we're diligently working, and within, days, they're gonna have their study reviewed for the group of buildings which total the 200,000.
You have to finish up with the conditions of the approval.
you.
Understood, thank you.
anyway, he jumped ahead on me, so
Perfectly
that was
fine.
coming later, and I was gonna explain it. But, so I feel that, I still staying 9,750 square feet under my cap, that if you would give me the blessing, to move forward, I think that's what I'm hearing, to move forward to go to the 45,000 square feet for occupancy in building 2, and leaving the remaining unoccupied, but yet a shell.
So the way the numbers work out, it has to be, for the planning board's purposes, below the 105,000 square feet for occupancy. The building is the 105, that's DOT's permit as it stands right now. I do know that there were the other conditions of approval that still need to be worked through. Mike Vignali did send in his report about his visit to just building number 4.
Yes.
And
yeah.
there are a few outstanding things related to that as well.
So
I
that's-
don't really think there's any action for you to take. I
Right.
don't think a blessing, a vote, a motion is
Yep.
necessary.
Mike McNally did come out between the last meeting that we had then, which is
yes.
excellent.
He went out on June 5th for
Awesome.
just a site inspection
Awesome.
on that site, yes.
Yeah, I agree. I think from our standpoint, we've already kind of approved that through our planning, of course, the conditions and everything. You guys are completely aware
I
of.
just wanted Sam to hear it, that's all.
Yeah.
You know, he's sitting back there, so he's the one that's asking.
Obviously, there's still the other regulations that are out of our control, like.
Right.
you know,
I
building
understand that, and I
inspections.
will
Yep,
meet
right.
his regulations, but, and the code. I just wanted to be, above board,
Yep.
so everybody knows what I'm doing. So, and if there's a problem, I want to know right now, so that's one.
On this one, any comment from the board? Any other comments?
No,
Excellent.
no.
All right, go ahead, Tim.
Moving on. Number 70, Unit B, which is Industrial Way. It's the first building we built. It's the first one at the top. It's split in two. Right here, it's 15,750 square feet. One side of it was intended to be for a gym class kind of a thing. And it has an assembly of use permit on it. And I would like to return that to a warehouse. Because it's most likely what's going to end up happening there. And Sam and I talked about it, and we thought the most appropriate way is to come in front of the board. And so I don't know if that's got to go, I applied for a public hearing for that,
This
so.
would be a change of use,
That
right?
requires
Yeah.
a change of use and a conditional use permit under the groundwater ordinance, which have to be public hearings. I know you had sent me some information, but until it's an actual
So
application.
we'll have to notify and
Right.
have an actual
Okay.
agenda item for that, yes.
But no,
Yep.
you guys have no problem with doing that, going back to warehouse?
I don't believe so. I don't, I mean, I don't want to speak for the board.
Okay.
It's not really a decision you can
Yeah,
even make because it's not formally in front
Okay.
of you.
Right.
There is a process for it, though.
I do have a question. The last time I come here, it was about the puzzle lane.
Excuse me.
Can I recommend?
You
that?
need to, excuse me, ma'am,
Could you just go to the, so that we can hear, could you go to the microphone, please? Thank you.
you need to state who you are too.
Hi, everybody. The last time I come here, we were talking about a project that was
Excuse me, could we have your name? Because he has to write it down in the minutes. when he
My
records
first
it.
name is Marie Claire, and last name is Galera, Galera.
Thank you.
I'm from Plasto. So I repeat again. The last time I come here, we were talking of a project that was going to be done on Puzzle Lane. Is that the same project that expand?
This project, this phase of that project that we're speaking about right now is not the one that borders Plastow.
Ah, okay. It's
Correct.
another.
That application, and correct me if I'm wrong, Tom, that application is not in yet
Okay.
for that.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
So
Okay.
part of this property that the 4 industrial buildings are on does go into Plastow, but the development related to these 4 buildings does not enter into Plastow.
Right.
So it does abut it, but it doesn't.
Like the entire industrial park, obviously, it goes into part of
Correct.
Plastow, yep. Go ahead, Tom, sorry.
All right, that's all right. No big deal. I like input. My number 3 today is B&M office installation. We're looking for a conditional use permit. The building is complete. It's gone through inspections. It actually it needs one more tomorrow. We're hoping, or the following day. There was a mix-up on the equipment. We thought the equipment had an ERV unit in it. It was a heat exchanger, what brings in recovery air from the outside. And this was sold to us as so by the salesman. And it turned out it didn't. It did, but it's got the plug and play and it's happening tomorrow, so we will complete with that. So what we're looking for, it will be a CO from Sam on that, but we also need to come in here and see you guys. And
Correct.
we also have the owner from B&M Office Installation, Mark Johnson, right here. So maybe we'd like to hear from him, speak a little bit about his business. Or
That, I think, would be fine, unless the board agrees, of course.
Jen?
Fine.
So, I just want to be clear, there is no approval of the planning, you can certainly hear from the owner.
This is just discussion, correct?
There's
Yep.
no decision to be made. Okay.
That all has to be, a public
I'm
hearing.
aware of that.
Yep.
You have to put your application in first.
right. So, but we have an application in.
I don't have any applications in for 125 development at this point. No, nothing was submitted in writing. I did get some emails from you, but nothing was supplied in writing. My understanding from Bill is,
It was to Bill, to everybody, there was an application.
I did see an email come in that I know Bill was
At the
CC'd
bottom of it,
on.
at the bottom, it was the permit. I did.
I believe it was the physical.
Conditional use, they don't have a permit, you had to use a change of use permit?
And that would be fine that you use that form.
Yeah.
But you also need to submit the actual physical application, pay the application fees to be able to do that.
Okay, but we paid the fees.
I don't deal with the fees, I have no record of that.
And I didn't see any checks, and nobody reached out to me to let me know that those fees had been paid.
Okay, I get you.
So no hearing has been scheduled, no abutters have been notified.
You know what the process would be. We would have it before us on the agenda.
That's what you're telling me.
Correct, yes, unfortunately.
Moving on. Coleman already jumped ahead on this one. It looks like we met all our conditions on Phase 5 for the residential section. We did get a DOT letter tonight, last minute, and I'd like to share with everybody. I don't know if you guys have that. That's what I've got. Let's wait.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Just the DOT permit?
Who approved 22? 22 on this one, Bill. Okay, so our DOT approval for the 22 units out of the 44 has been approved by DOT by Roger Appleton. We met all the other conditions. We are waiting for the selectmen to approve the verbiage on our insurance bond. That has been sent to them, but we have not had any communication from them yet. So I'm
So you want to request, obviously you're requesting review of those conditions and making sure that everything's kosher.
So what it is, I like to kick off the meeting between town engineer and the bill inspector for, to get the job started as soon as we can. All we gotta do is approve the verbiage, so what we have chosen to do, the 4 buildings with the red rings around them is what we're intending to start out with. And that's what's in the DOT letter that they have agreed to, that was discussed earlier too. That's what you're looking at. The bond paperwork is in with the selectman's office, so I'm hoping to hear in the next day or two back from them, and then, we'll write them on.
So Bob, I know you're kind of on the spot here.
Yeah.
I'm sure you need to review that paperwork with the other selectmen. Especially with the driveway permit just coming in. I'm trying not to put you on the spot.
Well, it's more about just meeting everything that we're doing, so it's the paperwork is here, and we want to come again and talk to you guys and let us know where we're at and, like, get it going. I'm pretty sure that the selectmen probably, if they don't look at it this week, I know that we'll get on the next Tuesday and see if they can complete it at that point. We had favorable views of what we wanted to do, so it was close to being a vote, but then the way it's aligned right now, that the building inspector, the planning board, the town engineer hold the last say if we're complete before the bond's released. And that's basically what we're...
Right. Yeah, I believe you're supposed to be on the agenda for this Tuesday.
Right.
Excellent.
Right.
Anything else, Tom?
I think that's really, that's well, Coleman's gonna talk about the next one, so the Mylar 27-3, but I think that's basically, there's a lot of stuff going on right there.
Oh, yeah.
But it's gonna just keep coming like this every week, and if I'm not here talking about it, you aren't right.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, and I think we should make sure that we're not holding back anything needlessly that we need to as a
Right.
board.
So,
Yep.
as we move forward, we're gonna be here all the time, so.
Yep.
Anyway, I'm gonna turn this over to Coleman and this concern to my wife. All right,
Thank you, Tom.
all right, thank you.
Again, Coleman McDonough, the owner. As far as the Mylar goes, that Mylar is done by, and stamped by Horizons Engineering. That is a condominium plan, but encompassed,
Is that this one? Colin?
no,
Oh,
it's lot 27, it's lot 27-4.
Okay.
Some of the newer members might not know, it's an ongoing lot that Steve Casey did an as-built. There's condominiums, there was an amended site plan. I think Bob is the most knowledgeable, with the history of this lot, in that we did an amended site plan. So this Mylar incorporates everything. So there is no physical change, not a blade of grass is moved, but it accomplishes several things in that Steve Casey had Puzzle Lane 3, 5, and 7 Puzzle Lane. He showed them, in his plan, but he didn't show them on the plan itself. So this plan shows 3, 5, 7, 9, A, B, and C. When we did the condominium plan, again, the amended site plan was approved and it was recorded at the registry. And this plan is the amended site plan with all the revisions of, the pipes that, got adjusted and everything that was on the amended site plan. But it also includes 3, 5, and 7, 9A, B, and C. And at the point in time that we did the condominium plan, I, nor the board or anybody picked up in the room that a rule and regulation for condominiums in New Hampshire for commercial is that you have to show inside and outside and inside dimensions, which wasn't on the plan. So, and then mistakenly, 9A and 9B were recorded as an adjoined building. And it was the wrong plan. We had the right plan and the wrong plan, and the wrong plan was recorded. And so this plan incorporates everything: the dimensions, the amended site plan, and disattaching building A and B, which is basically the as-built of the amended site plan.
I was going to say, so the intent of this is to fulfill what the amended site plan is.
I mean, all the other plans are recorded,
Yep.
and, but this plan is the plan that incorporates everything, that meets all the rules and regulations. Bob Duchamp is our condominium attorney, and he doesn't even practice as an attorney. He's the condominium guru of New Hampshire, and he can't be stumped. Anything you ask him, and they've drilled this. We're in the process of trying to, which this accomplishes for me, the signing of this plan. I've been trying to sell Turner Motorsports their building for like probably almost 5 years now. So the signature of this plan and the recording of it can complete, our process, so I can sell that building. And it straightens everything out, and it meets all the requirements, and,
Except one. I'm going to interrupt you right there, and Jen, correct me if I'm wrong. The other year, you were putting in to have the condominium application in, and then you withdrew it when you went about doing all your things. So the one little technicality is that you simply need to file that condominium plan with the planning board so that we can sign off on that, and then that can get signed and then recorded.
whole plan, Bob?
No, you came in, and by the code for the town, is an application to make it a condominium, right?
So it's just the application?
Exactly, so you need to fill out the application, submit that, and then that comes to us, we approve that, then this can be approved, because no condominium application was fulfilled.
Okay.
Then that plan, everything comes through, correct?
I didn't realize that commenting on that.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that I had to fill out a condominium application when there's already a condominium plan in place, and we had filed for an
Right, but there
application.
nobody ever filled the condominium.
Even back when the other one was that?
Yeah, we have nothing
Okay.
filed, I understand.
An
Jen,
amended
please.
site plan for this site was approved by the planning board
Right.
about 15 months ago.
Correct.
That has been recorded. That amended site plan, it supersedes everything else that was approved previously that did have errors.
Yeah.
You did have a condominium conversion application at one point that was intended to condominiumize the site, but then it was withdrawn. I want to say it was 2023 spring approximately. So to do a condominium conversion, that's the technical term for it in Newton, you have to apply for a special permit. The fact that the site has already had an amended site plan, that is recorded, you have all the septic, you have the floor plans, should make it a very actually straightforward process. But it does require a public hearing, it's zoning ordinance 33, there's a form on the town website. But until that has actually occurred, I would not recommend the planning board sign anything.
So all you gotta do is get that filled out, get it in.
And it's
And then
online?
come before us, and then we can approve it.
And then this will be part of it.
Okay.
That's it.
Awesome.
Then we'll finally be done with building 9.
Thank you very much.
You actually might want to take the Mylar back if it's going to be the plan
Yeah.
that you submit.
I mean, I was gonna sign it, I'm gonna go on, I might even go on tonight and make out this application. Still up to me, but I didn't realize that, because there was condo docs declarations and a condo.
Right, but you withdrew it.
No, you were under the assumption that part of it was
I
finished.
didn't have
Yep,
to,
yep.
redo the application.
Understood.
But I will, I'll redo the application.
Thank you, Mr. McDonough.
And typically with that process, condominium docs being reviewed by the planning board's attorney would be a condition of approval. So just, so the fact that they're already drafted actually helps get it ahead.
And again, to keep the town council's costs down, that is the amended site plan. There isn't a thing that's changed on that, other than meeting the rules and regulations and separating A
Yep.
and B, right?
Right.
In the inside and
There-
outside
there-
dimensions, which is.
Your thought is there's extra stuff in here that is not even part of that. Understood,
That-
understood.
Not
Yep.
that we have to replace any other plans. That's our condominium
Yep.
plans, but it meets every requirement by the condo rules and regulation. It's the amended site plan. It's everything. It shows the driveway entrance, which the other plan didn't also, so.
Excellent, thank you. Understood. All right.
Anything else?
Yeah,
Jen? That
anything
was it,
else
right?
that Jen has concerns on or the board wants to comment about this? Yeah.
Not about this.
Yep, okay.
All right, thank you, everyone. Any other discussions?
Ask them if they got any questions.
Yeah, if anybody here from the public has something pertaining specifically to what I'd like to keep it specific to what we talked about tonight, you are free to come up.
Yeah, there is no public hearing, there is no planning board decision, there is no
We're not
application.
making any decisions on anything that was just discussed on these plans here. This was just a process of moving them forward on their applications. When the applications come in, there will be a structured meeting around those specific applications.
Good evening, everybody. Steve Beck, 20 Ridgewood Road in Plastow. This is more informational for me and maybe some of the people here. And, I hope you guys can help us out. There's a lot of things going on tonight. We're talking about the DOT and the building where you're building at the end of an industrial way. We're also talking about the 20 lots of workforce housing. So let's go simple first. With the workforce housing, 22 of the 44 units are approved. Is that correct?
Per the DOT permit, he would be allowed to build 20 units. The planning board has granted conditional approval on that site for up to 44.
So there's two accesses to this property. There's an access through Puzzle Lane, and there's an access through Industrial Way, although it doesn't connect yet. Understood. So for this property here, which is the workforce housing, which is over near Sergeant Woods, that access is through Puzzle Lane. That is where you receive DOT approval. Am I correct? Is that what I'm understanding correctly?
So when it creates the ring road,
Correct.
when we get 5, it includes the roadway back to Facein.
Okay, so what
I mean, we complete the loop by noon.
I guess what I'm trying to understand is what was needed from DOT to get you to your 22 units. You said just a study for access through Puzzle Lane to get to the 22 units. Okay. Again, just informational, trying to understand, because as we know, this has gone on for a while. We're trying to understand. Back to the units at the edge of Industrial Way. There's another DOT permit that I think you're asking for some modification to allow you to build more or build it. So can someone explain the limits of what the DOT original approval was for and why he needs something different?
So in short, the DOT permit allows 105 square feet of industrial building.
5,000.
Right. The 4 buildings that were approved in the locations they were approved are bigger than that. They're almost roughly twice that square footage. So their approval from DOT is to only be allowed to build up to that 105,000 square feet. The 4 buildings they could eventually build if they get a DOT permit to allow that is greater than that number.
So I guess I would ask the board, why are we considering wavering what the DOT is allowed when?
We didn't waiver it. What we did was we said that they could build up to that, what the DOT granted them. And then that was it. If they go over that limit, then that triggers what we put in place was them having to go back to the DOT for them to approve the rest of that square footage. And that road, if any improvements need to be done, then the DOT would tell them what they need to do.
Exactly. The conditions of our approval state that the DOT has to approve, the expansion.
Correct me if I'm wrong, you guys know better. Isn't there an eventual plan that there needs to be a decel lane on 108 in order to get in there? I mean, you're only at the front end of this.
So
good.
the
Go ahead,
DOT permit specifies that limit of square footage and then includes a clause that effectively says another study will have to be done. That's what Tom was alluding to verify the traffic potential and potentially the need for some traffic mitigation. A decel lane would be a potential. There is part of the planning board approval that included that design. But if DOT says it's not necessary, the planning board's approval doesn't dictate it has to be put in. But DOT is ultimately the authority on granting that driveway permit.
So I guess I'm still confused. What are they asking for today? What are they asking for, a waiver or a condition change from?
I assume you're referencing the first building that Tom was talking about, kind of splitting. So you have a DOT permit to fill up to a certain amount of space. Tom, go ahead. You can respond to that.
So it's a really big project, right? So
Understood.
it's happening in
I've lived it.
steps. Oh, I know you have. I've known you for quite some time. So what I'm explaining to you is that the first permit comes in, it gives me 105 cap to build in here, right? So I have about 200,000 square feet, so I can't do all of it. As the studies progress, we do one, then we do another one, we'll do another one, we'll do another one, as we go through the project. And as this gets mitigated, they're studying, like say for example, Mark's in the bill before he has 3 trucks. If someone come in that had 20, it would have made a difference over the study. He only has the 3 delivery trucks, the straight jobs, which are permissible use under the DOT permit. So our effects out on the main road aren't as high. Yes, are we under construction? There's a lot of construction going on. Construction vehicles, yes, but that doesn't count into what's actually in the park of the people. So what I'm doing, so what I asked you to do tonight, my 105,000 square feet, I haven't used all of that up. I've used 5850 in the little building, and then 34,500 in the building before the little one right there. Right. I do have a bigger 75,000 here, but I'm not intending to build. I'm not asking for the 75,000, but this may be beyond it. I'm asking me to bring me 45,000 of it, keep me under about 9,750 under my 105,000 cap, and that allows me to build out for that new tenant. I asked to build a shell of the building, but never occupied till we get past the next study. A different study is done for phase 5 because that's a residential. So that's the one that just got approved, and that's why we have a letter. And because it filters out, so they're gonna let us build so many. As the study goes on, they sense more cars than they thought. Well, they will make the changes on the entrances that we need to do. And someone, I think it was last week, somebody said, well, how would you ever do that? Well, it's so big, the right of way from 108, that the road will shift. But it stays in the right of way. It's big enough to do everything we accommodate. If you go back to original approved plans from the planning board for this whole section for 27.3, you can see all the options of what happens and how it works. So it's like there's no mystery. You guys, and I believe it's all available online in town.
The full plan set is not available online, but there are copies in the planning board office.
So long story short, all I was doing tonight is like, I'm just moving the square footages around and staying with the cap, just as I can continue building while they're doing all that stuff. We're spending money, but we also need an income. Did you follow me?
Just really quick, Tom, I just wanted to.
Can I help with this? Can I help? Real quick. Because I think it might help.
Thank you, Sam.
I'll help everyone. All right, Sam. So, what's your name? Steve Beck. Okay? Yeah, okay. So I think what Mr. Besk is asking, right? You're looking to build, is it approximately 15,000 square feet larger than what?
In the 30 that we had.
Okay, right. So what Jen was saying was the planning board approved a larger building, and you just can't occupy more than 105,000 square feet.
Correct.
Okay, so that's what the planning board approved. Occupy means certificate of occupancy. I think what Mr. Beck is asking the planning board, because he's confused, and some people might be, does the fact that the approval from DOT only allows up to 105,000 square feet, does that bring them out of compliance with the planning board approval? And will the DOT requirement of only allowing a building of only allowing 105,000 square foot of building trump the planning board saying that you can only occupy 100? You could build larger, but you can only occupy.
The DOT permit saying building up to 105,000 is a stronger condition than the planning board saying occupancy permit for 105.
So I think that's what
Okay.
Mr. Beck is
Understood.
asking. Will 125 development be able to build the building, even though planning board says you can build it and not occupy it? DOT's regulations being stronger, I guess you're asking, will the building be built greater than
That's part of it.
the 105?
Part of it. Now you've explained, I understand that. But I also, I'm guessing that the DOT's permit is based on traffic. The amount of traffic.
A study, but traffic, yes, and any change will require a new study.
Does that same DOT permit take into consideration the amount of truck traffic from the gravel operation that takes place on this site?
DOT has only considered specific land uses that are specified in the permit request.
Okay, so that's got nothing to do with the construction of these buildings. I understand what you're trying to do with here, but the DOT permit takes no consideration amount of truck traffic that enters that space from the gravel operation.
No.
So how are we like leaping to the next step when we're not even addressing one of the other concerns about the gravel traffic in and out of that space? Again, it's a frustration point as an abutter to the property, the amount of truck traffic that is in and out of there that we've all endured at all hours of the night, whether it's nighttime, and you guys know you had a gravel operation pulling gravel out of there in the middle of the night. It got stopped, but it happened. So why are we going to the next step?
We already had approved this property, not we, obviously, most of us weren't here.
For a gravel operation to take place. There's 2 gravel separators that are on that property.
I can answer that. If they're not gravel separators, they're custom.
All right, I'm gonna have, all right, order, please. I want Jen to say her sentence, and then Tom, go ahead.
So the DOT permit is ultimately under the authority of the Department of Transportation. Permits are required with any planning board approval, so they do certainly pay attention to it. The site plan approval is under the jurisdiction of the planning board. They are 2 separate approval processes. Concerns with any of those processes, I would recommend be voiced to that appropriate entity. So if you have a concern with the DOT permit, DOT District 6 would be the correct authority to comment to, in that regard of what you're asking. Things related to the planning board approval.
Understood. Okay, thank you.
Oh, thank you. Sam, if you have something to finish up, or Tom, either one of you.
So I just want to make sure it's clear, because I don't want the planning board or the residents or 125 development to be confused where we're at. Because there's a chance if DOT is requiring no building greater than the 105,000 total, I may still not be able, what I want to tell the planning board is I still may not be able to issue a permit for that greater square footage because of that, those restrictions. So I want to clear that up tonight so that next week we're not questioning whether or not.
And can I just add in, so that, just one second.
Go ahead.
If that permit, and this is just for the audience, just so they know how all this works. If Sam, our building inspector, is not able to issue that permit, that is one of the conditions of our approval on the property. That means that nothing can happen.
That's all stop.
Yes.
Right.
Right.
So
Sorry.
hence the reason we went back to the DOT and we asked them to clarify what Sam just talked about, that if it's occupancy versus square footage. So they did not have an opportunity yet to answer us for tonight, but we'll have the answer in the next day or two. But it wasn't a no. So I felt, well, we'll bring it tonight so you guys are aware of what we're doing and what we're looking to do.
And correct me if I'm wrong on that specific, I think that was item number one that you asked. You were just asking if we needed to do anything here. And the board has already approved the application with the conditions. That driveway permit and all of that is part of that permitting and the conditions.
Keeping us all updated on.
Correct.
That's correct. So I was going to explain, so the study's ongoing for the entire 205,000 square feet. So every few months, we move our study and then, and release of the DOT for what's coming. So it's a customer-driven situation, right? It's not like, oh, Tom and Coleman decide, hey, this is what you want to do this week. It's not how it is. It's a customer-driven situation, and that's why we need to make the change. And but as anything, everything has economies, how you build stuff and how you do it. And if you start piecing stuff up, it's not an economical way of doing it. But I know the board doesn't care about that, and which I understand. But I guess we'll wait for the letter. And I think at this point, Sam should be able to give me the permit for the 45,000 square feet, because I'm still underneath the square footage.
Planning board does not make that decision.
No, I know.
In speaking to Roger Appleton this afternoon, he almost had, I think, the 105 square feet situation squared away, but he said he couldn't promise it tonight. So I think that it's days away. Mm-hmm. And to add the comment, this isn't just this 200,000, it's the whole project. It's an ongoing study. We have probably the most professional company, that I think they're out of Watertown, that interfaces with Roger Appleton from the DOT. But, like I said, when they come out with this, the planning board, kicked back on, Roger, and I said, you're not gonna tell the state how they're gonna run their highway. We gotta go out in that highway and we gotta do whatever Roger, says. And that, the amount of trucks, we could put a solar farm on, the next lot, and there wouldn't be any truck traffic. So they gotta incorporate all of that, on the accounts. There's a method of madness with Vanessa and Hagan.
That's why the studies are done.
Exactly.
Understood, yep.
Exactly.
Thank you.
But I think it's days away.
Yep.
Anybody else?
If I drive in that location, do you have signs that say exit here or something like that?
Coleman, do you mind just repeating the question, like in the microphone, so that the people...
So this woman that just asked me about signs, and Roger did too. And I had there was a complaint, and we addressed the complaint, in that we do have an appointed person to put up signs every day, and they're made by New England Barricade. They're big orange signs. They're on stands, and it says truck traffic entering ahead, and it's posted north and south of the project. And fortunately, there was talk about truck traffic with the construction. Some days there might be 35 trucks pouring a floor. That's out of my control. There might be 15 trucks coming in with steel to erect for a building.
Yeah,
right?
depends on that project, that day, that whatever is.
Exactly. Some days it might be no traffic. Some days it might be a lot of traffic. But with all of our trucks that have come in, there hasn't been any accidents. So, and we try to address all of our concerns for our neighbors, but, it's an ongoing process. And I think within days, you're gonna find another letter from Roger addressing the 200 that, we're building currently right now.
Thank you, Mr. McDonough.
Signage is part of their DOT permit as well.
Yeah, and I was just going to reiterate that. Thank you, Jen. Again, when this was approved, and this is how it kind of flows with the board, that we're not the same members that were here when some of this stuff was approved, but the conditions of approval are kind of the meat of it to a certain extent. It's when the public comes in, they make their comments. Sometimes it's voluntary. Sometimes the developer will say, hey, hey, I understand the lighting's going to be bad in this area. We'll do this instead. These are all the conditions that get put into the applications and the approvals.
I just want to add something.
Sure. Do you mind just going to the microphone? Thank you.
Well, it's Marie-Claire again. I live in 138 Newton Road. That means I'm like a mile or not even a mile away of the puzzle lane. And frankly, I don't hear any noise from the construction, from the truck. There is not too much distraction, or inconvenience where I live. And I live really close to it. That was my parenthesis.
Thank you. All right, anybody else? All right, I'm going to consider that
Motion to
closed.
adjourn?
A second.
All right, the meeting of the Newton Planning Board is adjourned at 7:51 p.m. Thank you, everyone, for coming.